when we finished negotiations, Poroshenko, with support of Macron and Merkel, of Hollande and Merkel, said that he would not sign this paper unless it is signed by the separatists, as he called them. And the heads of the two self-proclaimed republics, Donetsk and Lugansk, they were in the same city of Minsk, in another hotel, and they said they would not sign this because it was negotiated without them, and this was a document providing for territorial integrity of Ukraine with just special status given to these two tiny territories, to be frank. And that they already proclaimed independence, they cannot betray their people, and they took us and some persuasion to make them sign this paper, which indeed said special status inside Ukraine, Russian language, the right to be consulted when prosecutors and judges are appointed for these municipalities, actually, but their rights, the special status must be consolidated in the constitution, and the exact language must be negotiated directly between Kyiv and these two places. It's part of the Minsk agreement endorsed by the Security Council. Now, I mean, very soon after it was in force, the Germans, the French, and the Ukrainians themselves started saying, we never talked to the separatists. And Macron, when he came to Moscow just a week or so before we started the military operation, he was at a press conference, and then during this infamous phone conversation with Putin, which he, President of France, leaked, yes. He was saying that, Vladimir, you cannot insist on this legitimate government agreeing to talk to the separatists. And Putin was objecting, saying this government came to power as a result of a coup. Let them be grateful to all of us that we are trying to legitimize this entire situation and this entire country. But don't forget that the Minsk agreements bluntly say direct dialogue with this, whom you call separatists. It's a very shameful way which the French and the Germans behaved, and eventually those who signed on behalf of Ukraine, Germany, and France, Poroshenko, Merkel, and Hollande, being retired already, they stated in an interview, we never intended to implement this. We just needed to buy time to push more weapons into Ukraine. And of course, NATO was playing a key role. This Ramstein process led by the United States during Biden time. Now the Americans want to give it to the Brits, I understand, but the Europeans do not stop their efforts. On the contrary, they kind of increase them and call for more and more support, becoming more and more emphatic, and I would even say nervous. And the question whether NATO can survive without the United States is, I understand, motivated by these observations. I don't think the Americans would drop from NATO. At least President Trump never hinted that this might be the case. What he did bluntly said was that if you want us to protect you, to give you security guarantees, you pay what is necessary. It's still to be discussed what is necessary, 2.5%, 5%, anything in the middle. But he also said that those who fulfill the criteria of the percentage of GNP, to be contributed to NATO, them the United States would guarantee that they are safe and secure. But he doesn't want provide these guarantees, security guarantees to Ukraine under Zelensky. He has his own view of the situation, which he bluntly presents every now and then, that this war should have never started, that the pulling Ukraine into NATO in violation of its constitution and violation of the Declaration of Independence of 1991, on the basis of which we recognized Ukraine as a sovereign state, for several reasons, including that this declaration was saying no NATO, no blocs, neutral status. And another thing which this declaration also confirmed and solidified, the all rights of Russian and all other national minorities are to be respected, which, by the way, is still in the Ukrainian constitution, in spite of the fact that the series of laws they passed since 2019 culminated in total prohibition, legal prohibition of the Russian language in media, education, culture, even in day-to-day life. If you come to a store and asks the store attendant to be assisted in Russian, he or she might tell you to speak the right language.
What the changes in India's population and the differential growth rates.
This city has emerged.
We have a very special guest on the record.
The interview.
The role that the US side played at that point of time.
पूरी दुनिया की नजर
Assume my phone is tapped, I can probably say hello to Mr. Modi.
आपके भारत पर है.
Episode of Know Your Candidate.
The rising confidence of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Communist China is the greatest threat.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremist.
I'm still a little perplexed by why we.
Your daily dose of news from India and across the world. Cutting edge views and analysis. Tune into HT videos. Click on the bell icon to subscribe.